How's it going, everybody?
Great. How are you guys?
It's going.
I'm all right. It's fantastic, man. Like I saw that interview you just did with David of Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It's my fault we're on late because David and I just talked a ton.
Yeah.
He was almost in
I was
Star
watching it.
Wars.
But hey, if you want to know everything you need to know about David from Harriet Tubman, like make sure you check out that video. So yeah.
Definitely.
Also, I want to say we also have this this little event we got going on with Concrete Comics. The draw this character in your style. Officially, no one has submitted anything yet, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But hey, there's still time. There's still time to do so.
I do not know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, get on it. Like he just
Women
said. What
of
you waiting for?
Concrete. Come on, guys.
Exactly.
I think today is Sister Circle. Is
Sister
today's
Circle. Yeah,
calendar.
Odina and Asima. I think I'm saying that other one right, but Onaji can correct me if I'm wrong.
He will. He definitely will. He loves correcting people about his character. All creators do. So yeah.
I understand.
What are you drinking tonight?
Me personally, I'm drinking Red Stripe, the Jamaican beer.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to try Red Stripe. I have not.
it's good. I like ales, lagers, but yeah, I think I'm gonna just jam with this thing. What are you drinking over there? Whiskey?
So for me, yeah, whiskey. Yeah, my
Oh, both drinking
Tyrone.
Wow.
I got
Both drinking whiskey.
Chattanooga
And I've
whiskey.
been.
You
Yeah,
got
this
that
is
on the
just.
pocket,
I'm drinking Crown, so I'm keeping it simple.
Oh, simple, but
I was
good,
like,
man.
yeah, simple and good, yeah. But I was like, wasn't gonna touch the tequila. Nope, leave that in the cabinet. And then I was like, well, should I bring wine? And I was like, nah, because the one that I have is it's about 3 or 4 years old. So I was like, I'm not gonna. Might as well just drink the whiskey. Might as well drink the whiskey. I'll save that for later. Save that for later. So that's pretty much where I'm at. But
right on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about there. I know Brent has something very special. We're probably gonna say that to the end if you're okay with saying that till the end. But
Yeah.
like it's something that I never knew about, and I'm not big into indie comics as much as you two are. So I'm gonna learn something today about indie comic books. But I'm gonna let Tyrone start out with what he was gonna bring up today.
with the indie comic, the book that I'm reading, is that where you're starting off with?
Oh yeah.
So the book that I'm reading is called Delta Dogs. It's by Millennial Comics, and this is their Virgin variant. So I'm hoping.
I love that cover.
It's amazing.
Awesome cover.
I actually talked to him about this one because he was going to put the title up there when I looked at the cover, because we're friends also, you know, and I do go talk to him and everything. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, don't put anything on that. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, Virgin variant. I was like, you need a Virgin variant. I was like, don't put anything up there. And then when he did it and he got his initial prints back and he looked at it, he was like, oh, I'm so glad I made that choice. I'm like, yeah.
Is that?
I'm like, some covers you just
term?
Virgin variant. Mm-hmm.
Huh,
that's pretty much just art cover. You know, it's just the artwork. And I've been getting into them myself with my books, doing them. And people have been loving them. The first one that I did was with Temple High, and people went crazy over that Virgin variant that I had. Brett, I don't know if you got that Virgin variant, but
no, I don't think. Well, did I? No, I don't think I did.
I think you just got the regular cover. But I did a couple. You know, I did a theme.
I know DC is sort of doing that with their variant covers right now.
Yeah, they do a lot of Virgin variants and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I like them, you know, especially if it's good artwork. You know, and with the Amo Stigmata issue 1, Francesco Tomaselli did like a painting.
That's your book, right?
Yeah. He did like a painting of that, and I'll show y'all another time. Like that's for another video.
That's when we spotlight Sovereign Comics. Right? That's that day.
Yeah. It's not for me. This is not for me right now. But here, I'm gonna show the regular cover. This is the regular cover of Delta Dogs, and this is number 1. And Delta Dogs, man.
What kind of story was it? Like a coming of age? Was it like a book?
It's a coming of age book. It is so.
Oh, you read it already? I'm the only one who hasn't. My goodness.
Yeah. You need to catch up on this. I guarantee you, if you read it, just get all 10 issues. His first season is done. Like
that good.
Yeah, and I have all 10. So that was number 1 that I showed you.
You about to show them off? Yeah, you showing them all off. There it is.
That's
God, those covers look amazing, dude.
Yes.
All those covers look so good.
It is so good, man. It's dealing with family, you know. So pretty much what ends up happening is issue 1. The thing that I love about it most is the group of cousins. And of course, I was real tight knit with my cousins. Most individuals who are from the South, which the creator, he's from Virginia, you're tight knit with your cousins. You know, like you go and do stuff, you're going to do it with your cousins, especially if they live there with you. So you see that camaraderie, you see that family there, and it plays well into the dynamic of them and the way that they talk to each other, the way that they're around each other, the way that the older cousins want to sneak out and the younger cousins want to go with them. You know, like all that stuff. So it brings all that into it.
He told me that like he put all these characters based off people that he knows out of real life. Yeah. That's why there aren't many. They said his cousin. That's why there aren't many like female characters inside the comic book right now.
Yep, it's pretty much based off of him, his brother, and his cousin, and their cousins and stuff like that. And it's very dope. But they end up getting powers. They end up coming across this freaking glowing dude. Like the thing they like something happens to their car, and so they get out to try to see what's going on. This glowing green dude like comes up and ends up like exploding and knocking them out, and they end up getting these powers. So the first issue is just. Yeah, that's first issue. It's like very 80s, 90s superhero. Yeah, it is. It really is. And that was the part that brought me in because I was like, man, this is very 80s, 90s origin superhero story.
I dig it. It's like Bang Babies. I keep thinking about from Saturday Shock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And it worked really well. Like, and it's but the way that he did it, whenever he kicked off the book, which is one thing that I really, really liked, was like he so like I'll show a couple pages. So like he shows them the characters and stuff like that, and they're already heroes. But then he goes back and he's like, "Hey, this is what happens." Yeah.
Oh my
and
goodness.
He shows you what happened and everything like that. So it's going through all of that and telling you about the characters and stuff like that. And so it's like all the seasons, because in season 1, it doesn't even get to the point where they actually become the heroes. That's coming, you know. So the first issue number 1 shows you like way in the future. And then it's like, okay, let's take you back to the beginning and show you everything that happened, how we got to this point, you know.
To me, like I know, like, you know, comic books have been around since like superhero comic books around since 1939, Superman, the first one. And he was established right out the bat. So is Spider-Man, X-Men, Fan 4, and you got to see their stories as you continually read those books. And to me personally, as a comic book fan who read the big 2, that's my favorite type of way to tell an origin story for a character, like through flashbacks as you're reading it.
Exactly. You know, and I'm glad he did it that way because, like I said last video, with a lot of us indie creators, a lot of people aren't willing to wait. They aren't willing to wait for the story, mainly because of where DC and Marvel is at.
Indie stuff not usually. I get that too.
Indies no one's going to wait for the story, so we kind of got to do it in creative ways. And in a lot of my stories that I write, I do the same thing. Like I'll say, "Oh, we're here, but let's show you how we got here," and then it goes from there. And it works, and people like it, you know, because it brings them in more, and then they learn something, and they're like, "Oh, wow," you know. So that's what he did with this. And issue 1, and like I said, issue 1 does a great job of taking you to the point of how they get their powers and stuff like that. There's the Green Man I was talking about right here. Dude freaking looks creepy, you know? So I mean, and they get their powers, and then in issue 2, it's just them fumbling around with things and trying to figure things out.
Does he have digital copies of this?
Yes,
I
think so. Yeah, he does.
At least 1 through 5 are on Comixology too.
He does have one Comixology. So if you do have a Comixology account, or you just have Comixology and you're reading your digital comics and stuff like that, go find Delta Dogs. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy it. It's a fun book. It's a coming of their own. It has a little bit of slice of life in it a little bit too, which is another thing that I like about it, because it does have that kind of because with one of the cousins, that I don't want to give it away, but I don't know how far you've read, Brett, but one of the cousins, he has a story that's going to be...
Yeah, I think I've only read 1 through 4, 1 through 5. Last time I read it was when I interviewed Vonell, and I hadn't gotten all 10 yet.
And then you can tell us about the story. That's like not a spoiler. Anything at all? Anything about the character that stand out for you? About these
well, I'll tell you this. It does deal with a lot of gang violence and stuff like that. It does deal with that. And there's another thing that's going on, which he already kind of made a joke about on. He brought it to me, but he kind of made a joke about it on Facebook and I think his Instagram page. But you know how Jamie Foxx has that new movie that's coming out, and like they're taking these pills and these pills are giving them powers. Well, that's in his comics too, which is funny because his comics came out before the movie.
Prior
so,
to lawsuit.
Yes, I know, right? So like they do have this thing going on where there are these pills. In one of the books, they call them the lemon pills, but I guess they have different versions of this pill. The lemon pill is like the lower end. So if you were to compare it to drugs, it's like the crack almost. It can kill people and then people get addicted to it. And then you got the top-notch version of it, which a lot of the bigger, more sinister gangs are using those.
Is it does tasteful? It's like the way it plays out. Is it tasteful?
What's that? Does
is
it
tasteful? Is it tastefully done, or is it just kind of like raw and in your face?
It's tastefully done, but in a lot of parts it's very raw. Like if you grew up around gangs, I think kids can read it. Right. There are bad words in it. There are some bad words, but it's not like he doesn't go overboard with it. Like he doesn't. Like it's just like the word hell, shit, stuff like that. But he's not, not going super overboard and everything with the curse words and things like that. So it is tasteful on FX. Yeah. So I mean, it is tasteful in that effect, but like with the gang stuff, like if you grew up around gangs or knew about gangs in the area and stuff like that, you'll see things and you'll be like, oh, you'll kind of recognize certain things.
I dig
so
it.
in that part is kind of raw, and that part is raw and in your face, but. He even has some parts where it deals with like corrupt cops and things like that, and also like these 10 books, like man, they touch on everything, and then the story is fluid, like it just runs all the way through, and it gets to this.
Oh God, that's my best. See now I gotta read this. Like you just said, like 10 issues right now, 11 coming out pretty soon.
10 issues. Yep, and 11 is coming out soon. That'll be.
It's a Kickstarter too, doesn't
it? For 11. Yep.
Indiegogo. That's right. He's the Indiegogo kind of guy. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
So I had Indiegogo for it, and he's tried Kickstarter a couple of times, but it never made gold. I told him, I was like, take it to Indiegogo, see what happens. He took it to Indiegogo and made gold. So
it makes this comic book look cool with an Indiegogo logo on top of it, though. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Maybe I just heard it out too much. But
that's a good book. It's a good book. I recommend anyone to read it, pick them up, and it's only going to get better.
For me, the story that I read was called Mega Woman. And reading this, I felt a lot of the concrete story, like the Odina story inside of it. But I think like because it was set place in Atlanta, but I think most of it had to do with the fact that this protagonist, she's half god. So her father's Zeus, her mother's immortal. It's very Hercules in a way, but the way like it plays out, it's more of a like I don't like my dad who raised me kind of story. It's only read the first issue. You got that too. Like I see you nod. Like you got that impression also in the first issue, right?
Yeah, it seems like she's overly harsh on the guy that raised her before she found out.
Yeah.
Godhood Comics, by the way, give them a shout out for Mega Woman.
Like I can't remember the name of the creator. Is it Tyler? Is that his first name? It's drifting from me right now.
Let's see.
For me too. Now I want to go grab the book.
Last name Martin. Yeah, I have it digitally somewhere.
But
like she
Oh, please go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like she was, like you said, very harsh on him. Like he'd be like, "No, don't do it. Get out of my way."
She literally threw him out of the way. Like she's fighting this big Luke Cage looking kind of guy. Yeah, he's like the commissioner or head captain in that area. Yeah, getting phone calls from the president about a nuclear strike.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And that part really stuck out to me because like why? Never in my life, I'm reading DC, Marvel, any kind of Image comic books, have I really seen like unless like it's that one episode of Justice League Unlimited where the Dark Heart took over and they had to shoot down like a laser beam to stop them from spreading. Have I seen the president step in to blow up a city block because a superhero were fighting inside of a building? Like never have I seen that before. And I'm not sure. I want to talk to this writer. Like I really do. I want to find out like why he did that. It's because like because these two are black superheroes and villains fighting against each other, but like the president is a Obama analog type character. So like I want to know. I want to wrap my head around like why this happened because it kind of threw me off guard a little bit.
Yeah. Although you see the news today, and if it had been like a Trump analog, then maybe
it would have made a little bit more sense. Then
yeah.
Don't be bashful. We're on FTO. We do kind of stuff. But it was a good story to animation. yeah, that's about all I got for this. So I didn't read part 2. I'll probably read that. I probably won't talk about next episode, even though it's worth talking about and worth picking up the second issue because, like, honestly, I just breezed right through it and it was an easy read. It was a fun read. The characters were fun and interesting, even though Mega Woman was kind of an ass, but it was still fun to read.
One thing
she was
cool.
not a racist person.
One thing cool about Godhood too is they just said, I think it's Godhood, that they just put out some stuff. They're looking for a woman editor to go back through and edit Mega Woman 1 and 2 to make sure that they get it right. And they're not doing anybody who can't draw black characters anymore. From now on, if you can't draw black characters, they're not paying you.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's a very big stance there, you know.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Building your
I'll put $5 on that in the Kickstarter, like, you know, just to get a new edit of that version of the book, just because of that reason. Yeah.
It's definitely a brand approach too, and you know, Brett, you and I both are in marketing and stuff like that. Well, I'm in IT, but my degree's in marketing. but building your brand is important, and that's the thing that people got to know you by. So, I mean, if that's what they want to go with, if that's their brand, they just got to stick with it. Yeah. And I don't see anything wrong with that because, I mean, if you're going to have a comic universe or publishing company where the majority of your characters are black, then you need to make sure you have an artist who can draw black characters.
Yep.
I mean,
look at the universe.
I will say, though, this artist, like, who did this issue, didn't do a bad job. Like, the art is great. Like, the characters were good. The antagonist doesn't look like Luke Cage. I don't care what anyone said. Like, he looks.
Yeah, that dude was big. That dude was big.
Cufflinks on, too, just like Cage. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have shot him with a nuke, but I would have shot him with a Hellfire because he was pretty big. That was a pretty big dude. I wouldn't have nuked him, but it would have been some Hellfires like shot at him and everything. Scud missiles and stuff like that, like call the Navy. Like, but he was a big dude. That was a big guy.
Yeah,
and I think they probably did that too to just show her strength to go toe to toe with this really big dude, but. Even still, I'm not going to give away the end, but even still.
Is really good, though, too. I like issue 2.
Yeah.
It takes it one step further, and you kind of get a little more clarity on what's going on with the president you mentioned.
Okay. Because I don't want to give away, like, you know, what I think was going on, but I feel like something was going on with him.
Oh, something's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Cool thing, too, is the mom. The mom, she played no games, man.
Wasn't she?
She played no games.
Yeah.
She was like, get her for your daughter right now. Get your daughter out of there. Like, she played no games, man.
I mean, I doubt my mom will watch this, but if you do, Mom, I'm sorry. My mom would be like, well, I guess he's going to get nuked.
She was ready to run in there too. That's my baby. Yeah. I was like, okay, Mom, all right.
And her SUV just ready to tackle that building. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good story. It really was a good story.
If she had powers, it would have been over. Like, like if she had powers, it would have been over. 2 pages in the book.
Done.
So
agreed.
Oh.
All right, Brent, you had something like you want to share it all of us, like this, like the first black indie comic book character.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I think it's largely accepted as the first black indie comic character. There were black superhero, I should say. There were other black superheroes, obviously, before this. Some non-Big Two, or what became known as the Big Two, but they were still official publishing companies. But this was the first kind of crowd-funded, within his own circle. You know, there was no Kickstarter at the time. 1969, 1970. The date's a little blurry because it's an indie comic. Eben, and that there's only one issue produced by Larry Fuller. It's about a black guy in the U.S. who gets picked by an alien race to kind of be the mantle bearer of this ancient superpower that you don't really ever find out what it really is. But it makes him have superpowers, and so the issue ends with him really having his costume and his powers for the first time. And this alien guy's like, okay, I'll leave now, and then he leaves, and you assume that he becomes this black kind of Superman type character, and it was the first indie black superhero.
Wow.
It was in black and white with some yellow tones inside of it, right?
Yeah, black and white, yellow tones, you're right. It was one issue came up recently on eBay, and I bid on it, and I was like, I'm gonna get this cheap because it was down to like 5 minutes, and it was like $15, and within the last 5 minutes, it went for like $300, and I was like, oh, never mind.
Looks like there's a bigger indie collector out there than you, Britt.
Yeah.
Seems like
somebody got you.
Yes. So
somebody
these are
got you.
Super duper rare, and a lot of people think of Brotherman, which I'll cover at on some other episode, as one of the first in black indie superheroes. But Eben was the first, as far as I can tell, that at least gained traction. And like I said, really took on a Superman kind of vibe in a way, but he was human and he was endowed with powers by an alien race. So
created by Larry Fuller, Rory Haynes, and Jay Lynch.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah, you can get the digital online. Actually, you can download it. It's in the public domain.
Hello.
Spearhead Comics was what it was published under. As far as I can tell, Spearhead Comics' only issue ever was Eben. And in my mind, I have this debate whether it's Eben, which I think it is Eben, as in ebony. But I always
that's what I thought when I first saw it was ebony. Yeah.
But in my head, I always go Ebon. Which
that's
no fucking sense at all.
Sounds cooler though.
I know, right?
That sounds cooler. That's the reason why I say it.
So
for the cool effect.
That's what I read.
Did you like it?
I did. I wish there was an issue 2. Like, I hate that about some of these, especially early indie comics. That there was ever one issue. Another one that comes to mind, again, early 70s, is The Black Man. And again, it's about a black man who's a superhero. And,
I would hope so.
Yeah. And again,
the black man, but he's white.
Well, that's a topic for another episode. There is a comic book that's that way. Dude goes to Africa, gets a tan, and all of a sudden is a black superhero. Like, for real, we need to talk problematic indie comics one episode.
Yeah, it is.
That's one hell of a tan.
Yep.
Irreversible.
Needless to say, produced by a couple white guys.
Yeah, I think so was Ebon or Evan or
no,
Ebo.
He was a black. Larry Fuller was a black man. Yep.
Okay, then like it showed me someone else. That's my apologies then. All right.
Yeah. So he was.
Yeah, that's always the crazy part with the indie. Like even for me, being an indie comic book creator is getting past that first one. And when you're doing it yourself, I personally think it's a little easier because then you don't have that, that shadow of a publishing company breathing down your neck and everything. And like, you didn't make that much money, blah, 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 Because with all my books, like I've been publishing since 2016 and my first Kickstarters I ever did was in 2019. That was my first one, So a lot of my books I was paying for, and I was paying out of pocket to get a lot of my books done, and that was fun in the household.
That was real stressful, yeah.
But I mean, it was cool though. Like I got the support. My wife supported me, so she supported me with it, and then it kept pushing. And as she was seeing traction, we were seeing traction. I'm like, oh, let's go. Let's pedal to the metal, But yeah, that is the big thing too, and that's one thing that I learned. Like even when I stepped into this, I always had a business mind before I even got my degrees in business. You ain't gonna become a millionaire overnight. You ain't gonna become a freaking You ain't gonna become a $300 overnight. Like you really aren't.
Even with the coolest story, no, you're not.
like you really aren't. Like there's a lot of things you have to do, and then I know like there's some people on YouTube and stuff who say, no, you can make $1 million. You can. No. You can get to that point. I'm not saying you can't. Yeah. However, there are a lot of miles that you are gonna travel to get to that point. It's not gonna happen overnight. And that's your
followers on your page, let alone like
exactly.
Bucks. Yeah,
exactly. Like on my Instagram, I have 1,600 followers, and I have a lot of people who tell me, "Oh man, you're killing on Instagram for an indie publisher." I'm like, yeah, but if 1,600 people pay $5 for a comic, I'd be sitting pretty right now.
Like, doing a lot better.
I'll be doing monthly comics. Like, here you go, they're coming. So, but that's not the case. But I do have this group of individuals that are like, when's the next comic? It's coming out tomorrow. Bam! As soon as it comes out, they buy it. Brett, you're one. D, you're one. There's other people too, like so many other people, and they're the individuals that I can depend on. That I know every time I come out with something, they're going to get it. You know, and I'm grateful for that. But for me to get to that point, or for anyone to get to that point, like you need I would say you need at least 100 faithful, and then like 100 faithful who will always get something no matter what. Yeah. And then everybody else will come, you know. But a lot of people, I think they put out that first book, they don't become a millionaire, the movie deals aren't coming, the TV shows aren't coming, and they're just like, the hell with this, you know?
Like, I don't know how Warrior Nun became a TV show. Like, that comic book came out back in the late or early 80s.
Yeah.
And it just now became a TV show. Yeah.
Which one? Which TV show?
Warrior Nun on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then I know they did a revision in the 90s. They did a revision of it in the 90s.
Yeah. And then they brought it back for a little bit after, like, it got canceled for a while. Yeah.
You know, I was talking to CNS Comics, Talasha of the Stars. I think we've all shared different stuff from them, and they were saying that, you know, like, they're into Kickstarter right now, and how like nerve-wracking it is trying to make their goal. They really want to make their goal in this first week because everything after that's gravy. But the kind of science behind Kickstarter is, you know, outsiders don't back you until you're funded, really. And so your base has to be enough to fund you. And so if you only have 50 followers, 40 followers, you're not going to make it unless your goal's $40.
It's that very same way with being an influencer. Like, no one's going to back you up to get enough followers behind you.
Yeah,
exactly. I learned a little trick from another person who I think that he's naming his publishing company now Danger Dads, but he does the Miskatonic High books, which are really freaking awesome. I did my Temple High comic, you know. It did make over 1,000. Like it got to 2,000, but it didn't hit 2,500, which is what I asked for. And then I saw his Kickstarter, and I was like, $500, really? And then I saw another one, $500, 15 minutes, go mid, and then from there it's just to the races. And so I asked him, I was like, and he was like, well, this is what I've learned: when you make go, people back. He was like, especially if you've delivered previously, and I'm like, oh. Okay. Well, I was like, this is my first Kickstarter. I haven't really done anything. So people are like, who's this guy on Kickstarter asking me for $2,500? Like, he hasn't even done anything. Like, he's backed a lot of people, but he hasn't done anything. So when I did Temple High, I dropped it to 500. All those people who backed the first one came back. So it met goal in like literally, it hit goal in I think it was like 10 minutes because I let them know, hey, it's coming back. So it hit goal in 10 minutes. And then from there it was off to the races. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I didn't like go astronomical in price. I mean, like, I think it was like 17 or 18. But still for me, considering that
your goal low and like try to meet it that way.
Yeah, and it made it, you know. So now that I have done my second successful Kickstarter and I am about to, you know, fulfill goal on that, when it gets to people, all these people are like, okay, he fulfills goal. And whenever I send things to people, I make it like they're, you know, I study Apple and the way Apple packages their products, you know, so when I send you something, I want it to be nice, you know, and Brick's got stuff for me, so.
Yeah. You're probably the first person I ever supported with indie comics in physical form. And when I got it, you know, I even told my wife Summer, I was like, look at how he shipped it. This is amazing. Yeah. And so everybody else was a disappointment.
In comparison, I'm sure. In comparison.
My bad.
Wait to outshine everybody, Daro.
Just step your game up. I mean, I don't know. But like whenever I do that, like people get it, and I've had people from overseas, like freaking Indonesia and China, Africa, freaking Australia, Germany, England.
All over, really.
All over who bought my books, and they buy them because they get them and they're like, this dude sent me a book in a poly mailer with his logo on it, and on the inside of the poly mailer it's a photo mailer with the comic book in it, so it's not going to get bent, it's not going to get attacked by the weather, and I'm going to get this nice crisp comic book in here.
I think you got to do
another little thing that says thank you.
I think you got to do a boxing video, not an unboxing, but a boxing video.
Yeah, a boxing video. Just to show me, like, this is how you do it.
Send it to me, then I'll do the unboxing.
There you go.
There you go. We'll do that.
I wish I came up with that idea before you came up with that idea. But yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of things to learn. I think in a creative thing, and I'm all for helping other indie creators. Some of them don't like me.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. No, some people don't like me either. Just come to the territory. When it comes to like other things outside of comic books that you guys are doing, like any TV shows or movies that you guys are really getting into right now, or video games for that matter. I know the Ghost was it Tsunami?
Yeah, I know what game you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I've heard of it, haven't started it. The game that I haven't that I play, Tsushima.
Yeah.
The game that I do play religiously is Warframe on PlayStation. I play that a lot. But that's really it. That's the only games I play.
I'm still just.
I do a lot of writing. Like that's just, Warframe. Have you played
Diablo 3?
Diablo 3. Okay.
Do you know this? I'm not a gamer. I'm just not. I think I missed that window.
I don't know how, but yeah. Yeah. I think like there was a XCOM. You mentioned that game, didn't you?
XCOM, yeah. I mean, if we're going 90s turn-based, runs on Windows 95, yeah, then I'm a gamer. Man.
I thought they remade XCOM. I thought they remade it.
They did, and I haven't played it since like 1995.
It's not the best. Not the best game.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to mess up nostalgia. I'll leave 95 and 95.
XCOM Terror from the Deep, the sequel. I mean, come on. I stopped at the pinnacle of gaming. I haven't played since then.
And since we talked about multiverses before, we talked about different universes from your comic book, Tyrone. I just watched this film called Palm Springs on Hulu with Adam Sandberg. It's a Mobius strip movie, pretty much. So like, in the guise of Groundhog's Day and Looper and things like that, where like you're repeating the same day over and over again. I love this movie. Like I just watched it. It's on Hulu. I love this movie. It doesn't leave it up to the hope and chance. It shows the characters like being raunchy and I wouldn't say like bad people, but putting themselves in a situation where like they just don't give a damn. Unlike the Groundhog's Day movie with Bill Murray. Like if you haven't watched Palm Springs, I'd say definitely check it out.
Check that out.
Yeah. Did you say it was on Netflix?
Hulu. Yeah, Hulu. I know we're switching up like from comic books, so we're just talking about something else. But yeah,
talk about everything. That's comics and nonsense.
Exactly.
So everything.
Read the fucking title, people.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about everything. But I know the recent movie that I did watch was Old Guard on Netflix. Have y'all seen that?
With Charlize Theron, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not seen it. I'm waiting for the hype to die down because a lot of people are saying it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And it's based off a comic book, if I'm not mistaken, or a graphic novel.
Really?
See, there you go. Like you just said it's good, so that gives it another 2 weeks. Wait in the back burner because you just said that.
It's like he said it's good. I'm not watching it.
Like not watching it. Gonna wait till everyone's saying it's good before I watch it.
It's freaking horrible. Go watch it right now. It's horrible.
That bastard lied to me. This is great. That started with the MCU films. Everyone kept saying like how good the MCU films were, and like I beg to differ. So, but yeah, I know. So that's where it all started.
I mean, I'm sorry if I offend you, Tyrone, but the MCU films are better than the Snyder films.
What?
And I'm a Superman guy.
There are some. Okay. There are some. However, I will say this: as far as fight sequence and cinematography, and all like.
Yeah, you're right. And I will retract that statement until I see the Snyder cut of Justice League. That might just bring it all together.
Yeah, especially since they're letting him pretty much go no holds bar with it. Yeah. Like that's what I've been hearing. They're letting him do whatever he wants.
Over and over and again, there'll be no.
You think the Snyder cut of Justice League is gonna like top what the version of Batman vs Superman did?
Ant-Man topped that.
You're right.
No comment.
Ant-Man is my least favorite MCU movie, and you're right.
Freaking Thor: The Dark World topped that. Like, I'm sorry.
And it was Shea who like really made that movie awesome in the first hand place. So yeah, Michael Shea, He was like telling those stories, like recapping everything. Like he was the reason why that movie was so cool in the first place. So yeah.
He was funny. He was all those recaps and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't know. Like it wasn't that Justice League wasn't a horrible movie, but you knew it wasn't this.
Yeah, I am.
Tyrone, I think it's your headphones.
It's my headphones. They're always doing those.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of farts coming inside my ear. It'd be so crude, but that's what it sounds like.
It's your robot noises from before.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Robot noises. That sounds better.
Let me see if I can.
Hey guys,
definitely you did.
While Tyrone fixes his stuff, if whatever platform you're watching us on, FTO Nerd Talks is on all platforms. So go over to Facebook if you're on Twitter. Follow FTO Nerd Talks. If you're on Facebook, go over to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Shout out, we got some people watching on YouTube and Facebook both right now. So
sweet.
Follow across all platforms.
Are you saying good things or horrible things right now?
All we got so far is AJ on Twitter saying, "What's up?"
Hey, how's it going, AJ?
Nothing much.
He's probably gone now, but yeah, how's it going, dude?
How does it sound now? Because I don't need to give out my secret.
Great.
It sounds good.
Great. Yeah, you're not really a robot, right? Wink, wink.
No.
Did you blow into it like a cartridge? Is that what your secret?
When Tyrone messes up, his wife comes in.
Just flick the switch. What you saw was a green screen. That really wasn't me. Oh man!
But I have one more thing I want to talk about. It's comic book related. Batman has a new suit. Wow. I'm not sure if you guys seen this or not.
I've not.
It's written by Tinian the Fourth and Jimenez. Jorge Jimenez is doing the art for it. It looks pretty stellar. It has like very, very Arctic blue look to it. I'm not sure what its purpose is, but my question to you guys is, what do you think about like the constant changing of costumes throughout the history of comic books? Like, does that bother you? Is it cool?
It doesn't bother me, but sometimes I feel like DC in particular just changes stuff for the sake of change, and so sometimes I feel like, come on, y'all, come on.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either. But let's be frank, it's for toys.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is.
It's for toys.
It's
we
know
what they're doing. It's for toys. Me, I'm like costume functionality. Like if he's going to fight the penguin in Antarctica, then I understand it. So I mean,
it used to be exclusively for toys, but now it's also for cosplayers.
Oh, there you go. There's that too. Yeah. Cosplayers, because cosplaying is a real big industry right now. Yep. So
not during this season because there's no conventions, but yeah.
But some of them are finding a way. There's a cosplayer that I sponsor. She's finding a way. Yeah, they're jumping on TikTok and everything and doing lives and
doing. They're finding a way. Challenge that they did on TikTok. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. They are.
They're finding a way. They are very creative. They do more than create costumes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of supporting people, I just want to plug here because I don't have a Patreon, so I can say this. You know what? FTO Nerd Talks has a Patreon. Go to the link tree, support it, and and Sovereign Comics also has a Patreon.
I do.
Tyrone is both FTO Comic Billboard and Sovereign Comics. He does both, and so
dude is so busy. How are you so busy?
Some creators out there.
It's because I'm a robot.
He's that 16-bit robot. But yeah, he's a robot.
What you heard was my battery going low.
Because I was like,
oh, you're chasing it with water. Oh, look at this guy. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be up tomorrow. That's right. Yeah.
I gotta go change out a router later. So that really does make me sound robotic now.
Yeah, no,
I gotta go change out a router later.
Not sleeping, changing router.
Changing router.
I think that's about all we got so far.
Yeah, I'm on vacation next week, so it's just you two.
Yep.
So you guys will still be on. If you don't know, I'm the technology person behind this, and so we'll set them up as best we can. But they'll be there.
We're gonna be the first ones to set YouTube on fire, literally.
I mean, yeah.
We're gonna come back from vacation.
Like what happened to YouTube?
They partied in YouTube.
That's if people don't get kicked off first. But yeah,
I know, right?
I like being that social media jail. So yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah.
That's my place
for
to be.
A little bit now.
Think so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Who knows what happened next week? We never know. Yeah. I'm a rebel. Like I said before, I'm a rebel. So
only thing I'm gonna say is right now I'm just gonna say I tried to stop him. It didn't work.
That should be on a t-shirt. I like it. All right.
There you go. That's a new FTO t-shirt. I tried to stop him. Tried to stop D. Didn't work.
Yeah, that's what we want. All right. Well, this is D.
This is Brett.
This is Ty.
You guys have a good one.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, guys. See you next week.